All right, all right, all right. Whew. How is everyone doing today? How's it going? What is up, everyone? I am suffering from allergies, definitely. And I am... Oh, wow. I get to sleep in tomorrow. Interesting. Sorry, I just got an email where I get to sleep in. That's really weird. Oh well. What's up, guys? How y'all doing? It's good to see you. We got Gratitude, we got Mateo, we got Barack, we got Seijo. How do I say your name, Seijo? How do I say it? Tell me right now. Tell me! How y'all doing? I'm glad you're here, ready for this hour of community vibe central where we just talk about the Bible and read the Bible, which I need to grab out of my backpack. I am doing okay, everyone. Last night was really weird. After the stream, I got in a debate in which I was extremely disrespected, which is very unfortunate. I do not like that. It's like Sage O or something. Oh, Sage O. Okay. I was very disrespected, and I did not appreciate that. This morning, I got to work, and someone had complained to a higher up that I was on my phone too much. And then my higher up told me that it wasn't a really big deal. They just had to tell me for the sake of... They had to tell me. I don't know. And then someone rear-ended me. That's a little bit dramatic. Actually, they just, in the parking lot, bumped my back bumper just a little tad. There was no scratch at all. But it was just a very interesting morning, and then an even more interesting day because it was way longer than I thought it would be. I worked for about 13 hours today. Way longer than I thought it would be, and my day is not over yet because I am blessed to do this stream right now. But after this, I have to go get gas, and I have to go get a tougher allergy pill because mine is weak. So that is kind of the rundown on how I'm doing today. How are you doing? Please let me know right now. I'm snappy. But it is good to see everyone. Tonight we're going to be talking about a few different things. Tonight we're going to touch a little bit more on politics. Let me just pull up the articles real quick. We're going to be talking a little bit about everyone's favorite tonight. We're going to be talking about firearms. We're going to be talking about the media is running rampant with this phrase right now that there have been 7 mass shootings in the past 7 days, which is just... Holy smokes. Abdullah, thank you for the follow. How are you doing? The media is running right now like rampant that there's been someone's calling me. That's my boss, but I'm off hours. Media is running rampant by saying that there has been 7 mass shootings in the past 7 days. So we can talk about that as well. Let me just find the article. Right here. Awesome. So we're going to talk a little bit about guns tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about my feelings on weapons and firearms and all that good stuff tonight, because that is something that I love to talk about. Ethan, how are you doing? First, let me pray us in, and then we can read Romans 2. As yesterday we started off Romans 1, which was awesome. Now let's talk about Romans 2. Dear God, thank you so much for this time where we could come together and learn about you, Lord. Please help us to be honorable men and women of Christ, even though that may be very difficult, because you specifically say in your scriptures that it's going to be difficult and that we will suffer in your name. So, Lord, please help us suffer well. Teach us long suffering, which means patience. But please just bless us along the way with a sense of peace and joy in you. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. What is my religion? Christian. I'm a Christian. Oh man, my eyes, dude. I have allergies, and it's just like my nose is running, my eyes are itchy, but like I shouldn't do this. I shouldn't rub them, but I just have to because they hurt. So let's read Romans 2. And then after once the stream ends, have I ever thought you were a Muslim? Absolutely not. Never once thought I was a Muslim. The Bible, quite simply, the New Testament has firsthand witnesses of Jesus Christ, all written within 100 years of Jesus Christ, all written within that first century AD. The Muslim Bible, the Muslim Quran, was written in 600 AD. So why would I believe something that comes way later after Christ? Also, specifically in the Bible, let me find the verse if I can remember correctly. Because if I remember correctly, also the Quran says that you should respect the Bible. But how can you respect the Bible when you bring a new gospel that isn't biblical at all? Muslim is good? I don't think so. Anything that isn't Christianity is bad, inherently. Anything that is not Christian is bad. Because Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. Jesus is the only way to salvation. The only way. You respect all dinners? What? I can respect you, but still tell you that it's wrong. But that's beside the point. Dinners? You respect all religions? I do not. I respect people. I don't respect all religions. Anything other than Christianity is false. Definitively. Let me open to Romans 2. What is up, Jack? What's going on, Jack? We're just about to start reading Romans 2. All right, guys, let's read Romans 2. Continue to ask questions if you want. That's totally okay. I will be reading them. Any tips of bringing up the gospel to a friend? I don't know. Just let it be known that that you are yourself a Christian. You know, thank God openly, not in an arrogant way, but praise God, thank God. Invite them to church. Ask them questions like, have you ever thought about life after death, or what that would look like? And that's generally a pretty good way to open up the gospel to someone. Why don't I have my bookmark and mark? I need it in Romans. I'm trying to find one specific verse. Let's see. Oh, guys, my allergies. Killing me. All right, Matthew 7:15 says, beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing but are inwardly ravenous wolves. Matthew 24:24 says, for false Christs and false prophets will arise and perform great signs and wonders, so as to lead astray, if possible, even the elect. Oh my goodness, I keep sneezing. But yeah, so if Jesus himself says that don't trust anyone else who calls himself a Christ, because he's not me. Matthew 24, verse 4 through 5 says, and Jesus answered them, see that no one leads you astray, for many will come in my name, saying, I am the Christ, and they will lead many astray. Muhammad is not the Christ. He's not a prophet. I told my friend about hell, and he said he was okay with going with hell, and I explained to him what happens in hell, and I have spread the gospel to him, but he doesn't care. I think if he legitimately had to think about it, he would not be okay with going to hell. Hell is the worst place in existence. Absolutely the worst place in existence. Muhammad is not the messenger of God. Muhammad is someone who believes that in heaven you get like 72 virgins. That is not biblical in any sense. That sounds like it's extremely sexist and for personal gain. He's a complete false prophet. Anyway. I bear witness there is no God of God and his messenger is Muhammad. Okay, believe what you want. Anyway, Romans 2 says, "Therefore you have no excuse, O man, every one of you who judges, for in passing judgment on another you condemn yourself, because you, the judge, practice the very same things. We know that the judgment of God rightly falls on those who practice such things. Do you suppose, O man, you who judge those who practice such things, and yet do them yourself, that you will escape judgment of God? Or do you presume on the riches of his kindness and forbearance and patience, not knowing that God's kindness is meant to lead you to repentance? But because of your hard and impotent heart, you are storing up wrath for yourself on the day of wrath, when God's judgment will be revealed." Sorry, please keep only English in the chat. "He will render to each one according to his works. To those who, by patient and well-doing, seek for glory and honor and immortality, he will give eternal life. But for those who are self-seeking and do not obey the truth, but obey unrighteousness, there will be wrath and fury. There will be tribulation and distress for every human being who does evil, the Jew first and also the Greek. But glory and honor and peace for everyone who does good, and the Jew first and also the Greek. For God shows no partiality," which is quite frankly amazing. I don't read Arabic, so please don't put Arabic in the chat. That's a really nice verse. Romans 2:11. God doesn't show partiality. That's pretty nice. Oh my gosh, my nose. What is my Discord? Should be in the description. Boop. Holy smokes, guys. My nose is just... This allergy pill is not 24 hours. It's more like 20. Based on personal experience. For all have sinned without the law, will also perish without the law, and all who have sinned under the law will be judged by the law. For it is not the hearers of the law who are righteous before God, but the doers of the law who will be justified. Where am I from? I'm from the United States of America, baby. For when Gentiles who do not have the law by nature do what the law requires, they are a law to themselves, even though they do not have the law. They show that the work of the law is written on their hearts, while their conscience also bears witness, and their conflicting thoughts accuse or even excuse them. On that day when, according to my gospel, God judges the secrets of men by Christ Jesus. I'm reading Romans 2. Whenever you join the Discord... Oh, so for some reason, Discord links have been kind of broken lately, and I don't know why. Can someone invite Levi? That might be the best thing to do. That's a very interesting verse. I think we need to reread this slowly and carefully so we don't miss what's going on here. In verse 15. They show that the work of the law is written on their hearts. So there's objective morality written on their hearts. While their conscience also bears witness, and their conflicting thoughts accuse or even excuse them. It's a very interesting thing to think about. And I think that shows objective morality that comes from God that's written on our hearts. A Gentile in the modern day sense is anyone who's not a Christian, I would suppose. You have the elect Christians and then everyone else. But if you call yourself a Jew and rely on the law and boast in God and know his will and approve what is excellence, because you are instructed from the law, and if you are sure that you yourself are a guide to the blind, a light to those who are in darkness, an instructor of the foolish, a teacher of children, having in the law the embodiment of knowledge and truth, you then who teach others, do not teach yourself? While you preach against stealing, do you steal? You who say that one must not commit adultery, do you commit adultery? Which I gotta underline that verse. Holy smokes, that's a good verse. I have heard about the moon rusting, which I think is pretty interesting. Yeah, the red moon. That's verse Romans 2:22 says, "You who say that one must not commit adultery, do you commit adultery? You who abhor idols, do you rob temples? You who boast in the law, dishonor God by breaking the law. For it is written, the name of God is blasphemed among the Gentiles because of you." For circumcision indeed is of value if you obey the law, but if you break the law, your circumcision becomes uncircumcision. So, if a man who is uncircumcised keeps the precepts of the law, will not his uncircumcision be regarded as circumcision? Then he who is physically uncircumcised but keeps the law will condemn you to have the written code, and circumcision may break the law. For no one is a Jew who is merely one outwardly, nor is circumcision toward outward and physical, but a Jew is one inwardly, and the circumcision is a matter of the heart, by the Spirit, not by the letter. His praise is not from man, but from God. That's probably like the most confusing verses I've ever read, being straight up. Super confusing. But I think it all leads back to a heart condition. If there's someone who claims to be perfect because he follows all of the law, but in his heart he's not following the law, he's just as bad. But someone who outwardly appears like a sinner, but inwardly has a pure heart, he's just as saved. I think that's kind of what it's going for. In Islam, there is nothing in Islam. What? There is no peace in love. Islam is better religion. Islam commands you to kill people who don't believe in Islam. How is that better? In the Bible, it says, you shall not murder, and you're supposed to love one another. In the Quran, it says you must murder people. My keywords is bad? What? Your keyboard? Let's see. Let me just look up some stuff. Muhammad became violent. He beheaded Jews. He fought wars. He raided and killed. He took human captives, including women. He had a lot of sexual injustice, according to his own God. The Quran calls for Muslims to kill anyone who leaves the Islamic faith. Convert or die. So how is this good in any way? Relationship of religion, yeah. Oh, I think he meant it was a bad religion. Islam as religion is very good and makes us good people. You're called to kill people who don't believe in Islam. How is that a good thing, to kill people? I don't see where that's a good thing. So I don't understand where you're getting that it's a good, peaceful religion. The Holy Quran did not mention this. It's literally mentioned here. Let me do a little bit more research, and it's not hard to search this up. Bum, 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 bum. Look, the Quran's verses of violence. The Quran contains at least 109 verses that speak of war with non-believers, usually on the basis of their status as non-Muslims. Some are quite graphic, with commands to chop off heads and fingers and kill infidels wherever they may be hiding. Muslims who do not join the fight are called hypocrites and are warned that Allah will send them to hell if they do not join in on the slaughter. So apparently your Holy Quran does mention this. Why do you think the LGBT people hate us Christians so much? Because there's a lot of mean Christians that ruined it for everyone else. Levi, like, I mean, the Christians that hold up those signs that says, like, God hates gays, that's not a good look for Christians, and that's not very Christianly, because we're supposed to love, we're supposed to spread truth in love. So LGBTQ people need Jesus just as much as I personally need Jesus, but I would never tell them, hey, I hate you, and so does God, because it's not true. So that's why they hate Christians, because we oppose their sexual desires. Quran 3:56. As for those who reject faith, I will punish them with terrible agony in the world and in the hereafter, nor will they have anyone to help. So I didn't have to get too far. That's Quran 3. Have you read the Quran? I haven't, but apparently in the 3rd chapter, it's already pretty violent. Quran 4:101. The disbelievers are ever unto you open enemies. We're supposed to have compassion for our enemies. In the Bible, in the New Testament, it says pray for your enemies. We're supposed to pray for our enemies, but the Quran says anyone who doesn't believe what you believe is your enemy. So that's pretty crazy. Why are you in the stream if you're going to say another religion is better? This is Bible study, not Quran study. Ooh, he posted a link. No, you can't send me a link. I don't let anyone send me links. Yeah, this is a lot of interesting verses. These are kind of cool. Super terrible. Quran 9 verse 123 says, O you who believe, fight those unbelievers who are near to you and let them find in you hardness. I could keep going. We inherently have the same God, but I'd rather have 100% faith in Christ. The thing is, we don't have the same God. We don't. Christianity has the true God, but it has to have the belief of the Trinity, meaning Jesus is also God. Oh, you accidentally sent that? That's okay. I know what you mean. There's only one God, and it's the Trinity. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Whatever this Allah guy, Allah is not the same God of the Old Testament or the New Testament. He's a fake God. Yeah, he's a fake God, an idol, not real. So that's just violence. Let me see if I can find... is the Quran violent? How about I look if, is the Quran violent sexually? Let's see what it says sexually. bum, 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 bum. Let's see if I can find it. I really don't feel the need to see a link. I mean, I'm literally just reading your Quran. So there's no way Islam is the religion of peace. In the Bible, in the New Testament, we have verses that say, pray for your enemies and speak the truth in love, not kill your enemies. This is crazy. I've never actually read these verses firsthand. I've never had to. Fight them. Fight those. May Allah destroy Jews and Christians. So we're not allies in this. Muslims are not allies of Jews and Christians. Your verse Quran 9:30 says, may Allah destroy Christians and Jews. So there's no circumstance where Muslims are allies at all. In any way. Fight against disbelievers. Fight disbelievers. What exactly do you believe? Because so many verses are about fighting disbelievers. We intend to destroy a city. Oh my goodness, this is pretty bad. Anyway, this is a good segue into an article I was going to read, where I was going to read about the latest Colorado shooting, which Colorado has very strict gun laws. In Islam, we believe the prophet Jesus. Well, he's not a prophet, he's God. He says he is in the Bible. Anyway, this is called 5 Things You Need to Know About the Suspected Colorado Shooter Ahmed Al-Alwiwi Alyssa. And this is very interesting. But the gospel is characterized. What does that mean? The gospel is the gospel. Tuesday morning, Colorado authorities identified the Colorado shooting suspect as 21-year-old Ahmed Al-Alwiwi Alyssa. Alyssa is being charged with 10 counts of first-degree murder. Shortly after the news of Monday's atrocity broke, Democrats were quick to push for gun control. There was also assumptions made on social media that the shooter was identified as white, even though he wasn't. As we're finding out after waiting for facts to come out, that's not the case. The proof of Jesus is so obvious. There's first-hand accounts of his miracles, proof of his existence, proof of his virgin birth, and he was 100% fulfillment of the Old Testament prophecies. It's much more believable that God so loved the world that he sent his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him will inherit eternal life. For God did not send his Son to condemn the world, but to save it. This is much more backing up in logic than to praying 4 odd times a day. Praying 4 times a day, fasting for Ramadan, which isn't even a real fast because you can't eat from sun up to sundown. So you can eat whenever you want as long as the sun's not out. So that's barely a fast. That's like intermittent fasting, if anything. And then you have to travel to Mecca at some point. And if you miss any single one of those, you go to hell, which doesn't make any sense because no one's perfect. There's no way you pray 5 times a day. There's no way your entire life you've prayed 5 times a day. Have you heard of the recovered verse from the books of the Bible in Israel? I don't know what you're talking about, actually. When the suspect was first identified Tuesday morning, his Facebook page was still available online. We covered it on Louder with Crowder and identified a post with a Muslim prayer calling for praise to Allah. The suspect's Facebook page has been taken down since then, which is very interesting. He also hated Donald Trump, and many people, before they knew what his ethnicity was, accused him being white male, which wasn't true. Yeah. Let's go walk around a square to be saved. Misrepresentation of the Bible. What is? Your violent verses that call for you to kill all enemies? There's a buckload amount of evidence for Jesus' life, death, and resurrection. Yeah. Doesn't Islam believe Christ is a false prophet? I'm not sure. Misrepresentation of the Bible. What is? Please read the Quran. I just read the Quran. Quran 25:52. So do not obey the disbelievers and strive against them. With the Quran, a great striving. Quran 47:35. So do not weaken and call for peace while you are superior. Quran 61 verse 4. Indeed, Allah loves those who fight in his cause in a row as though they are a structure joined firmly. Quran 66:9. O Prophet, strive against the disbelievers and the hypocrites and be harsh upon them, and their refuge is hell, and wretched is the destination. This is a violent religion. Allah sounds terrible. He's not real. He is an idol. He's fake. But people fall for it. Because Jesus himself said, many false Christs or false gods are coming after him. But we're not supposed to be led astray. Jeez, that's crazy. Some verses were found in Israel about Nahum and Zechariah. I heard a little bit about that. I heard that they were recovered. More Dead Sea Scrolls. The Quran says Jesus never died, nor was even crucified. Both claims have a lot of evidence proving them wrong. Prophet Jesus is not a god, he's just a prophet. According to Jesus himself, he is God. And that's according to the Bible, which has first-hand witnesses of Jesus. Muhammad wasn't around until 600 years later, who couldn't see firsthand the miracles of Jesus. The verb fight is the imperative or command from katala, which is much more narrow than jihad. It means slaughter, fight, kill, and wage war. So when we read these verses, then slaughter in the cause of Allah, and know that Allah heareth and knoweth all things. For those who believe, slaughter in the cause of Allah. Jesus did die. That's the whole point. Nahum 1:5-6, which says, the mountains quake because of him and the hills melt. The earth heaves before him, the world and all that dwell therein. Who can stand before his wrath? Who can resist his fury? His anger pours out like fire, and rocks are shattered because of him. That's one of the verses. That's pretty sick. My Discord's right here. He ran off the cross. LOL, I suppose he has cat's claw, pulled the nails out, and he just dropped and ran. Look, there's so many witnesses to Jesus Christ dying. Legitimate references. And not just in the Bible. You can look up Josephus and some various other things. And slaughter them until there is no fitna, and until the religion, all of it, is for Allah. O Prophet, urge the believers to battle. How do I turn this off? I'm so tired of notifications. Turn them off. Done. Turned them off. Never gonna hear those again. I'm from Egypt. Awesome. They even put him in a, yeah, they didn't put him in a coffin, they put him in a tomb, but yeah. O Prophet, slaughter against the disbelievers and the hypocrites and be harsh upon them. Where's the peace? Where's the peacefulness? Because I'm not seeing it. Oh, my eye is so itchy. Holy smokes. I need to get allergy pills tonight after the stream. Jack, are you still live? I don't know how to see if you're live or not. Jack, are you live? So we can kind of discuss a little bit about self-defense and guns. What's the difference between a coffin and a tomb? A coffin is the wooden box that you're in. A tomb is a bigger room. And the difference is the tomb allows more space, so that people would wrap Jesus in cloth, kind of like a mummy style, and then place him in the tomb. It was just bigger. That was basically it. It was just bigger. A coffin is a wooden box. Okay, Jack, if you would join me in the Discord, we can talk a little bit about self-defense, and I can... I just realized I left that Discord that had all of my sources, but I'll find them again. Ethan, you can try all you like, but Abdullah doesn't sound like he's willing to learn something here. There's just some people that aren't open to things. So we can urge him to read about the eyewitnesses' account of Jesus and resurrection and have him read the gospel, but sometimes people just aren't willing to learn. All right, guys, welcome my friend Jack. Welcome my friend Jack. Hello? He's muted. Hello?
Hey.
Hey, what's up? I said, hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up? Sorry, your stream is a little behind.
Yeah, it is. You can just mute the stream. That should help.
Yeah, just did that. What's up?
So you asked me a very specific question today. Can you just ask that question again?
Sure. I want to get a gun.
Yeah.
To defend myself, to support the Second Amendment. But I'm not sure if I get it right now or later. I have the cash, but I'm just not sure.
So in the gun community, the Second Amendment right community, the firearm community, whatever you want to call it, there's a phrase used quite often, which is buy once, cry once. And what I've seen just on how history has gone is that you better get it sooner rather than later. Because here's a couple things. Last year, an AR-15, which is just a normal rifle, it might look scary, but doesn't every gun have potential to, be bad?
That's kind of the point.
It's a rifle. And it's pretty basic at that. Even the like 5.56 or 2.23 isn't even that big of a rounds, like a big of a caliber. There's hunting rifles that have 30-06, like there's definitely more capable rounds for violence. Regardless, last year an AR-15 was about $500. This year they're $700 to $800. It's better to get one sooner. It's better to buy once, cry once, because not only that, recently there's been a couple mass shootings, which statistically is also just very low compared to normal gun homicides, but that's regardless, especially since most mass shootings are done with pistols, and most involve gang violence, but we can all talk about that later. Biden is calling for a ban on, quote, high capacity magazines, which for an AR-15, a standard magazine is 30 rounds. So I would urge you to get legitimately like 5 or 6 magazines as soon as you possibly can, because right now you can get them for like $11 to $12 for just a basic P mag. That's what we call them. Or you could get them in, I don't know, a few months from now when they're going to be $20, $30 each.
Right. Now here's the question that I posed to you a little earlier as well. Do you think that the AR-15s, the high-capacity magazines that Biden is calling them, the standard 30-round magazines, do you think that those will in the future become scarce, become way more expensive, and eventually be cut off legally at some point?
I think it'll be a tough fight, but potentially, which is why I say get one now while you have it. Like I said, last year it was $500. This year it's $700 to $800. That's within 1 year. So I'd say buy one sooner. And because here's the thing is people say people say, like, who cares so much about the Second Amendment? Why is that so important? It's not only just for self-defense. That's one point of it. Yes, I would like to defend myself, but we have to keep in mind an unchecked government will stomp on its citizens.
Right.
Look at any other extreme socialist nation that its citizens don't have guns, but the government does. You know, like, I don't know, North Korea. Like, that's all you have to think about. I mean, look at Nazi Germany. Nazi Germany took guns specifically from Jewish people while giving guns and letting guns in the hands of German citizens. Now, there's a thing called the Holocaust, and the Jews didn't have such a great time. And it's probably because they got their guns taken and couldn't defend themselves from not other people, but the government. So that is why it's very important.
Yeah.
That we
Absolutely.
have as many guns as you want, just because you want to.
Oh yeah.
But I have sources, and I'll link them below in this YouTube video, of sources showing that upwards of 3 million lives are saved every year due to self-defense with a firearm. So I will provide that down below. And I'll provide a couple other links, various links about gun myths and all that sort of thing. But yeah, I definitely would say it's better to buy sooner rather than later. And that's just an interesting thing as well, and people are saying we need to ban AR-15s. They're assault rifles. They're assault weapons. First of all, they're not, because technically isn't any gun an assault gun? Mm-hmm. I mean, I can have an assault knife. I can have an assault brick. I can have an assault toothpick. AR-15 stands for Armalite rifle. That's what it stands for. It's not even an assault weapon. Because here's the thing. Why does the government get to have whatever weaponry they want, but its citizens can't?
Exactly.
You know, what happens when the police turns on us? What happens when there's a gunman about to fire at you and you try to call 911, but 911, how long does that take to get there?
Yeah.
You know? But I'll provide a bunch of various links down below, and so that people who are interested can read up. But here's the thing. People are also scared by the fact that anyone can just buy a gun. That's not true. You have to be at least 18 for a rifle. You have to be at least 21 for a handgun. You have to pass a background check, and you have to have a legal ID to get a handgun. And that also just depends on various state to states, like California, New York, and then specifically cities Detroit and Chicago have some of the harshest, most restrictive gun laws, but the most gun violence. It doesn't add up. And as soon as the government says, you know what, you're safe in our hands, we're going to take your guns, guess who still has the guns? The bad guys. The bad guys do. So gun laws and gun restrictions only harm law-abiding citizens. That is the people it harms the most, because guess who doesn't follow the law? Criminals. Yeah. So that's pretty much what I would say about that. You could get a decent firearm. If you want a pistol, you could get a decent one for about $400. I would suggest going with like a 9mm for defense. Get some 9mm hollow rounds. AR-15s are great because they're extremely customizable. You can add scopes, sights, suppressors, different butt stocks, different capacity magazines, whatever you want, and it shoots 223 and 556, which right now, because ammunition is rather expensive, it's about $1 a round or 90 cents a round. Kind of expensive. It used to be cheaper, but it's the most easily available ammunition. So it's so much better to get one now while you can, because a gun in your hands is better than any other gun. So I hope those answers your questions. I know that was really rapid fire, but we got to make it simple. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah. But yeah, any other, I don't know, just general, it's a constitutional right, just as much as freedom of speech. And I think it'll actually help protect freedom of speech, but it keeps the government in check. A government that has citizens that have guns is scared of the citizens. And guess what? Here's some numbers for you as well. We have had 40 million new gun owners, new registered gun owners. That's 40 million new registered firearms within 2020, the year 2020 to 2021. Yeah. 40 million new. Think about all the people that already had guns and bought more guns.
Oh, yeah. And once you buy one gun, then you're like, hey, I want to buy for my wife, for my kid. Exactly. I want a second one for my car, for my house, all that.
And the privilege to say we don't need guns because we could just call the cops or something else is terrible. Because women are biologically more frail than men. Give them a gun. That will show their rapist what's up. Honestly. Yeah. So the privilege to say we don't need guns, and yet you live in a gated community in the nicest county in the state, that's a privilege right there. You know, I mean, you have the government that's saying we don't need, quote, military style weapons. Meanwhile, look at the Capitol right now, completely surrounded with more army soldiers than ever. They have fences up. So everyone who hates guns, thank you, Strawberry Trencher for the follow. Everyone who hates gun and wants them to be banned also, guess what, has bodyguards with guns. Lives off the privilege of not having to touch their own gun, but they have someone else who does. All these celebrities, all these politicians that say we don't need guns, guess who they call? Police. And you know, that doesn't make any sense to me. That how can you defund the police but also say only cops should have guns? It's like, pick a lane, people. Doesn't make any sense. But that's what I have to say about that. Get one sooner rather than later. Just get something for your house. Get an AR-15, get a handgun, something that you feel comfortable with. Go practice shooting it. Get a shotgun. Shotguns are pretty cheap, you know, like $200. Get something now. That's what I would say.
Here's another question for you, Dryden.
Yeah.
How would you approach family members or friends who are very anti-gun and who know that you have an interest, and then even, you know, you're now going to go purchase a gun? How do you talk to those people, and do you let them know, hey, I have a firearm, or is it something you never mention?
No one has to know what you have. No one has to know what you have. It's as simple as that. No one has to know. It's your right. You're not doing anything illegal. Who cares? You know, I think they'll thank you in a emergency. But if you sense that they might be open, which is very tough these days to find someone with an open personality, take them shooting, because most people who hate guns have never shot one, and they're the ones saying assault rifle. Yeah. They don't know anything about caliber size. They don't know the difference between a 22 and a 45 or a 9mm or 5.56. You know, they don't know the difference. They don't realize that big scary AR-15s have a smaller caliber than most hunting rifles. People just see a hunting rifle which has wood on it with a big fat scope, and they think, you know, that's just for deer. You know, I'm not as scared of that, but the big black rifle, I'm scared of that one. It's ridiculous. And they say, well, they have less capacity, less ammo capacity. Not necessarily. Some of them, some lever action rifles can have upwards of like 13 shots in them. That's not something to scoff at. So that's what I would have to say about that. Is that people who don't know anything about guns, they're ignorant when it comes to their Second Amendment right, and they are living off the privilege of thinking that they have a government that actually cares about their well-being. They don't at all. So, any other last second questions or anything?
I mean, no, that's about it. Yeah.
Awesome.
One note I will say, one of the reasons that I wanted to get a gun was protect myself in, you know, self-defense if I'm ever confronted. Number 2 is home defense. And then number 3, the biggest thing, is a tyrannical government. Yeah. And I think that was literally the intention of the founders of our country. The Second Amendment, like, right? Literally, moreover anything else, honestly, was to keep the government in check and to make sure they knew that they could not abuse the constitutional power, which to an extent they are. The Second Amendment clearly states shall not be infringed, the right to bear arms. The AR-15 is the rifle, the modern rifle.
The modern
it is
musket,
the way that you would, a modern musket, the way you protect yourself, the way you go to war with your family and with your country. You fight evil.
Yeah, and if they try to confiscate our guns, good luck. Good luck. That's the other thing, though, is like it says gun rights shall not be infringed, like the right to bear arms shall not be infringed. I think people should have even easier time to get guns. Like I am a fan of background checks and ID checks. I am a fan of that, but I think it should be easier. I think we should be allowed to have machine guns. Like holy smokes, TTV Jakey Boss, thanks for the follow. I think we should be allowed to have whatever we deem necessary for ourselves. And people say, well, wouldn't there be more violence and crime? There's already violence and crime. Let's fight back. Let's defend ourselves, and let's stop saying guns are scary and bad and start teaching people how they are a tool for self-defense for weak people, or for just, I don't know, anyone, not necessarily just weak people. But we need to switch the perception of guns, because we all think that they're evil, but it's not true. The person firing that gun is either in self-defense or aggressive and evil. That is the difference. TTV Jakey Boss has a question. Yes, you can ask a question. You don't have to ask me if you can ask a question. You could just ask a question.
That's your one question.
Do I like both of these nuts? No. No, I don't.
Gotcha. There it is.
There it is. Jeff the Fish 13, thanks for the follow, brother. How you doing? We're talking about guns.
I think the boys like the gun talk.
I think they do like the gun talk. I wish I still
we had the talk.
I read the Twitch rules on showing guns, and you actually are allowed to, as long as you don't do anything violent or point it at the camera. Which is pretty cool. So I'm gonna look further into that. I know some Twitch channels have actually had like gun cleaning videos, which is pretty cool. So that's something I'll look into more, but I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. Go buy one just because you can. Who cares? Just because you can. Buy one. Let's keep the government in check before they take your guns, and then they say, actually, you can't practice your religion. And then they say, actually, we need more and more and more and more and more money in taxes. Actually, you can't do that. You can't do this. You can't do that. Pyrus Vital, thanks for the follow. All you got to do is just say, you know what, government, we're going to keep you in check, because if you take our God-given rights, you best believe we're going to fight for them.
Baba Booey.
Just like holy smokes. Live Flousel, thanks for the follow. How you doing? Never gonna.
Oh boy.
Why are they rickrolling me right now?
Trolling.
Ethan is green with envy about hearing about guns. Awesome. Yeah, we got rickrolled. Holy smokes, guys, we got rickrolled. But yeah. The government knows no bounds when it comes to suppressing the rights of the people. Look at Hong Kong. Everyone is saying, look at Hong Kong. If only they had their own weapons to fight back with. Well, if only they did. If only they did. And that's why you want to get one? Get one. Do it.
Yeah.
Mateo says he wants to get one as well. Do it. Do it if you can. Just look at your state law, get your concealed carry, get some ammo, get some magazines, do it.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you think that, going out and, purchasing a firearm, do you think that should be something that one considers a big deal, something to be taken really seriously, a lot of research, a lot of responsibility, or, common sense, you go and you purchase one and, you make it more of a normal
It depends on the person, because when I got my first one, there was a surge of responsibility. It wasn't like, oh, this is cool. It was like, oh my gosh, this is a tool that can be used in a very bad way or in a very good self-defensive way, which both ways aren't optimal. You don't necessarily want those, you know? But there is this surge of, oh my gosh, I have to be responsible about this. I don't think it necessarily needs to be a huge deal. I think it just depends on how you are raised. Like, some people are just raised with guns. They understand gun safety. They understand how to shoot guns. They know all about it. They know the general basics. So for them, buying a gun, it's not as big of a deal. So it just really depends on how you're raised. But if you have never shot a gun and you feel like the need to defend yourself and go buy a gun, please understand the responsibility that comes with it. Learn how to use it properly and learn the general rules. Like, only aim at stuff you intend to destroy. Only aim at stuff you intend to destroy. Keep your finger off the trigger until ready to fire. I mean, just you would think these are common sense, but they're not. They're not common sense. You have to be cognitive when you're dealing with this. Don't point it at anything you'd regret. Don't point it at anything you want to keep undestroyed. Keep your finger off the trigger. It's just that sort of thing that you have to learn, and then go shoot it. Learn how to shoot it. That's all you got to do.
And tell your friends.
To go get one as well. It's a big deal because we made it a big deal. Originally it wasn't. So what I'm going to do is, someday when I have kids, boys or girls, I don't care. My kids are going to know how to shoot a gun as early as, I don't know, 8 years old. At 10 years old, they better know how to be responsible with a gun. And there's easier calibers to shoot, like 22s. 22s are relatively, there's no recoil, perfect gun to learn on. It's not going to stop anything really, except a rabbit, but it's definitely a good gun to learn on. But teach it young. It's a good thing to learn that type of responsibility at a younger age, which is completely unrelated, but the most common factor with mass shootings is that the shooter, the murderer, I think it's upwards of like 90% chance didn't have a father. That is one of the highest correlations between mass shooters, is that generally they don't have a dad. So if you're a man listening, please have kids, train them, discipline them, train them to become good people, love them, but be a good dad. Teach them how to shoot a gun and protect themselves, and understand not only that, but just the freedoms we have in this country and why we choose to protect those freedoms. Don't let all the stupid people get to you by saying this country sucks, this country's systemically racist, this country it's primarily white people in these mass shootings. It's not true. Statistically, not true. Historically, not true. Don't believe it. You know, and here's the thing. I am a white dude. You know who I want to have guns? Everyone. I want black people to have guns. I want black people to protect their families and have guns. I want Asian people to have guns and protect their family. I want Hispanics. I want everyone to understand and have guns and have it for self-defense. This isn't a white-only thing. I want everyone to have that same tool, that same ability to protect themselves and their family. And I think that's probably this is like a whole nother, it's not even a conspiracy, but the media is trying to fuel a race war, because if we're divided, they can take power. But if we realize that we have a lot more in common than we do not in common, and a lot of stuff that we have in common across ethnicities, across cultures, is family values, marriage, raising children, working hard. That's pretty basic. And if we realize that we have all those common traits and fight for it, we keep the government in check, we keep our freedoms. But if they slowly divide us up, make white people out to be all super racist and black people all super suppressed, and now Asians victims of white supremacy, they're just dividing us, and people aren't seeing through it. Let me read some comments. I live in New York City, concealed carry, LOL. I was called a racist all my life because I was white. That sucks, dude. Because that's the other thing. I don't say this to promote violence by any way, but if you keep poking the hornet's nest that is the majority in this country, white people are the majority in this country, if you keep poking them over and over and over and saying, you're racist, you're racist, you're racist, eventually they might fight back. Common sense. They're probably going to fight back. Does that make sense, Jack?
Yeah.
At a certain point, you're stoking the fire, and eventually they're going to fight back. Now, this is not me. I don't condone it. I condemn violence. Like, I don't want violence. I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm just saying this probably will happen. I do not support it. I'm still first and foremost a Christian who doesn't care about the color of your skin. I care about the quality of your heart. I care about what's inside. Skin color in the Bible rarely comes up. There's like a couple verses in Songs of Solomon. Yeah. Jesus does not care about how you look. We're
told historically and biblically that racism isn't a new thing. It's not just black or white. In the Old Testament, it was the Jews and the Samaritans, the Jews and the Gentiles, the Jews and the Romans, and then all over the world, there's been discrimination. It comes down to a sinful hatred.
Yeah.
It's sin.
Mm-hmm. But I think if we just looked around and talked to people and tried to listen, we would realize we have a lot more in common than we do in this common. I don't know. Image. Yeah. We're all created in the image of God. Mm-hmm. Looks like all cops in the USA are required. No, they're not all required. Jeff the Fish says he was called a Nazi. The only thing I've really been called more recently was a transphobe. Someone called me that the other day, and that was stupid because I don't hate anyone. I literally don't hate anyone.
Disagreement equals hate, right?
Yeah, exactly. Northern Ireland, all your cops wear 24/7, but they have to wear a camera. Hello, I'm white. Can I offend you any other way? What did Jesus use for self-defense back then? The apostles? This is where we get into interesting territory. When we talk about the verse, we talk about the specific 10 commandment that says thou shalt not murder. Not thou shalt not kill, but thou shalt not murder. And then we read the verses like turn the other cheek. I think turn the other cheek is good for a non-violent situation, if that makes sense. If someone calls me dumb, if someone says you're stupid for believing in Christ, I'm gonna quote turn the other cheek, meaning just let it roll off my shoulders. But if you get physical and you're about to kill/rape my wife and children, I'm gonna shoot you, and then pray about it, because I will feel very sick to my stomach for doing that. There is a man who stopped a mass shooting in a church. What is his name? Let me find this man real quick. Texas church shooting. A gunman was killed by a churchgoer. A gunman who opened fire in a church in Texas fatally shot 2 people before being killed by an armed member of the congregation. Keith Thomas Kunanem stood up in the West Freeway Church of Christ. Mr. Shaw, 1414, thanks for the follow. Stood up in the West Freeway Church of Christ in the White Settlement on Sunday and started shooting before he himself was shot. A motive was not established. Meanwhile, the man who killed the gunman has spoken out about the incident, saying that he does not consider himself a hero. Notice the humility there. How terrible is it to take a human life in any form? Terrible. We know that person is created in the image of God. He doesn't call himself a hero at all. But this guy, Jack Wilson, is a baller. A volunteer member of the church's security team said he fired a single headshot to take down the gunman during the service. which was attended by 240 people. That's potentially 240 people's lives that could have been lost, which is amazing. But the guy had a criminal record, and let's keep reading.
Hello there.
The attorney encouraged, thank you, Red Wolf Animates. Thanks for the follow. How you doing, Mr. Shaw? But yes, he had a positive KD. The attorney was encouraged other states to allow citizens to carry concealed weapons for self-defense. This is the model for the future. In September, a new law came into effect in Texas that allowed licensed handgun owners to carry weapons in places of worship. I guess that wasn't a thing before. Yeah. But yeah, that's amazing. He actually shot back, and let me look up this Jack Wilson. Let me find another article where it has more of his perspective. Let me see if I can find something. Let me read some of this real quick. He fired one shot, killed the guy, saved lives. Wow. One shot, headshot. Yeah. Whoa. What a baller.
That's
everyone
for
was
all
saying
you out there.
Yeah.
Police officers, most people charging them, most people that they're defending against, they have to use the whole magazine because people don't stop, so that guy was a good shot.
An elder at the church told New York Times that one of those killed was a security guard who responded to the shooter, calling him a dear friend. He was trying to do what he needed to do to protect the rest of us. It's extremely upsetting to see anyone committing violence. So note that these guys who are probably gun freaks, they love their Second Amendment rights, they don't want to do it. Like, you buy a gun in hopes of never having to use it in self-defense. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, we really don't want to kill people. We don't want to kill people, even in self-defense, because they're made in the image of God. But as soon as you come to rape my wife and shoot my children, I will shoot you in the chest and head. That is a fact. Yeah. So it's all around rough, but we have to remember Romans 3:23 says, "For all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God." The problem with the left and people who believe we need to stop, just take everyone's guns away, is they believe that people are generally good. I have the worldview that people are generally evil, which means I need to protect myself. Let's see. Thanks for the stream, Dryden. I need to go to work now, so I'll see you guys later. Thank you, Seijo, for showing up. He had a positive Katie. That's so funny. Red Wolf Animates. Well, I wrote this song for the Christian youth. I want to teach kids the Christian truth. If you want to reach those kids on the street, then you got to do a rap and a hip-hop beat. I gave my sermon an urban kick. My rhymes are fly. My beats are sick. My crew is big, and it keeps getting bigger. That's because Jesus Christ is my friend. Dude, Red Wolf, are you trying to get me in trouble? Jokes aside, that man needs praise worldwide. I heard nothing about it, except we hear about everything else in the USA. Yeah, and that's the thing, is you're not going to hear about guns used in self-defense because it doesn't go with the narrative at all. It doesn't go with the narrative of shooty bang sticks are bad. I'm just a little above 13 and I already know how to use most guns. That's awesome, dude. Just go be a sharpshooter. We need you. Mr. Shaw, thank you for being here. We got us. We'll see you later. Unodo says, might kill people who hurt my family too. Might as well stay single. Don't stay single. Just get married. That's what I'm trying to do at some point. Dane is here. What's up, Dane? How you doing? I'm a simp for Jesus. Super into Jesus. It's just Dane. Wait, I'm confused. Guys, I'm back. Did you miss me? You've never seen a gun before? Dang, dude. Well, your family's also in a cult, so yeah. Need to start timing your stream to make it earlier than the last 5 minutes ever this week. Hope you're all good here. We're doing well. I start my stream at 7 p.m. Eastern time, which is New York time, 7 p.m. sharp. I'm Canadian and we don't have AR-15s. out in schools, unlike Americans. We don't have AR-15s in schools. And schools, here's a big issue with schools, is that they're a gun-free zone, meaning ding ding ding, if someone's crazy and wants to shoot up a bunch of kids, guess where they're going to go? A school. Because no one is going to shoot back. That's the other thing that's most correlations in mass shootings, is that they're usually done in places that ban guns. They're usually done in places that have a strict no firearm policy, meaning guess what? If you want to shoot up a bunch of people because you're insane, you're going to go to some place where they're not going to shoot back. So this guy who almost shot up a Texas church was kind of an idiot, because guess what? Someone headshot dinked him in the brain pretty much immediately. Look at what happened when they took away alcohol. Crime rates went up. What do you think is going to happen when they take away guns? Yeah, exactly. But we do not have AR-15s out in schools. That's a very generalized statement to say. Yeah. Every time I think about it, it just makes me sad. Even sometimes I feel like if they go to hell, I want to go with them. You should never want to go to hell. Ever. Regardless of who's in there or not, because you're all going to be screaming and gnashing your teeth. You don't want that. But yeah, guys, thanks for listening to the Gun Hour. This is pretty much it for me. I am going to go to Walmart. I have to pick up some allergy medicine, and then I gotta get up early tomorrow. So stream tomorrow should be on time. I believe stream tomorrow should be on time at 7. If not, I will alert the Discord. Make sure you join the Discord down below. As always, this podcast, this live stream is brought to you by the Bible. Go freaking read it, nerds. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you all tomorrow. You can always message me in the Discord if you want. I'm pretty much always on my phone and available. So if you like that, please join the Discord, and I will see you all later. So good night, guys. Good night. Thanks, Jack. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you all later. Bye. 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 Bye.